Some are defending Ukraine at the cost of their own lives and health, while others not only sing Russian songs and watch Russian movies, but openly admit that they respect Russia and Putin. In Kyiv, an underground school was discovered on the territory of the Holosivska Pustin monastery of the UOC of the Moscow Patriarchate. This investigation was carried out by journalists from Slidstvo Info, and they published the material the day before. The video has already been watched by over 300,000 viewers and is being actively discussed on social media. The Minister of Education and Science, Oksen Lisovyi, has responded to the scandal. He instructed that educational institutions where children were falsely enrolled, children whose parents sent them to an underground Russian school, be inspected. The Security Service of Ukraine, together with the Prosecutor General's office, have launched an investigation. More details in the report by Vasil Safianyuk.
I'd rather say a prayer than stand for a minute of silence, endlessly singing that crazy anthem.
And where did you want to go? I think
we wanted to go to Russia.
One boy in the 6th grade drew this picture with different Japanese flags. Someone sang the Russian anthem. This
is footage from the journalistic investigation Slidstvo.info, in which the head of an underground Russian school and one of the mothers talk about life and education. The institution, which they called the Orthodox School Prospect for Christian Children, has been operating for almost a year on the grounds of the Pokrovsko-Holosivsky Men's Monastery of the UOC MP. And here, more than 60 students of different ages are studying. The language of instruction is both Ukrainian and Russian.
Listen, I see the Slavic language here. What is this? How does that work? Yes?
We also have the Slavic language here. It's basically the Russian language.
Aha, so it's literally Russian, just called the Slavic language, right? Well,
more or less.
Among the mandatory curriculum is watching Russian films. On
Monday, we showed them the film Koroshi. Let's go back to last Monday, and that time we showed a film from the Upshchi Dili project. There are 5 secrets of a real man in it.
Journalists from Slidstvo Info found out that there are 16 teachers working at the underground school in the Holosivsky monastery. Officially, they call all of this a family or parents club. And the children are officially registered for distance learning at other schools, a private one in a village in Kyiv region and a public one in Kostiantynivka, where fighting is already taking place on the outskirts.
There is a private lyceum in Kostiantynivka, so we are registered there. We are transferred from class to class. All the documents and records are filled out. Here, it turns out, tests are also taken. The necessary tests are carefully sent to that specific location, and all the required documentation and forms are completely filled out there. And the parents, in their turn,
and the administrators of these schools are all satisfied with this arrangement. After all, they also receive a subsidy from the state budget for the children. How
will the children actually study at 2 institutions at the same time, both at the monastery and with you?
They don't study in any way at all. They're just officially enrolled. All the actual learning takes place at the school attached to the monastery. And from there, they give us, well, it's kind of just as a favor to Anna Anatolievna. And then the school gives us the grades, and that's it. And we just enter them here.
The director of the underground school explains what is being instilled in the children's minds there.
We have Russian literature, we study the classics. This is very important for the soul of a child, for the child's spirit. My boy in 6th grade drew this picture with the founding flags and constitutions. Then
the parents really enjoy it.
The remarkable, notable, and significant, truly noteworthy. Journalistic in its approach and style.
Investigation prompted a response from the Minister of Education and Science. Oksen Lisovyi instructed to check the educational institutions where children whose parents sent them to the underground Russian school were officially enrolled only on paper. The actions of the heads and teachers involved in this activity will be checked separately and thoroughly. Based on the results of these inspections, specific and strict decisions must be made regarding the organizers and those who directly carried out this teaching. This is not only about determining whether the relevant institutions have the right to provide educational services, but also about forwarding materials to law enforcement agencies. The Security Service of Ukraine also responded promptly. Together with the Prosecutor General's office, the Security Service of Ukraine has launched an investigation into the facts made public by the journalists of Slidstvo.info. As part of the pre-trial investigation, law enforcement officers are establishing the circumstances surrounding the creation and operation of the mentioned educational institution and are checking whether the children attended state educational institutions where they were officially supposed to study. They are also investigating the sources of funding for the activities of the underground school. The pre-trial investigation is ongoing. All established facts will be given a legal assessment in accordance with the requirements of criminal law. The author of this material, Slidstvo.info investigative journalist Yana Kornichuk, says that it is still unclear what is going on in these parents' minds and what kind of future they want for their children.
Unfortunately, it is the parents who are making choices for the children right now. And as a result, these children are effectively deprived of the right to a good, adequate, quality education. Parents are simply taking their children out of excellent public schools, out of the new Ukrainian school, and transferring them to places where the curriculum includes so-called Slavic language, which is actually Russian, some church singing, arithmetic from 1966, textbooks from 1966, and so on.
The fact that something like this became possible specifically at this monastery of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchate is no surprise. Religious scholar Yuri Chornomorets is confident of this and reminds us that there is also a seminary there.
The Holosivsky Monastery is one of those monasteries where Patriarch Kirill is commemorated. You saw how much they brainwash children, but they brainwash seminarians even more, especially if we take, for example, the Poshav Seminary, or seminaries in Western Ukraine in general. There, this is even more developed than in their educational and confessional institutions across the rest of Ukraine.
So attention should be paid not only to the underground school, but also to the priests and the abbot of the monastery who blessed all of this.
The security service of Ukraine should also work with the priest at the head of this monastery, Archbishop Isaki, to ensure that such underground schools cannot exist. Tomorrow, a similar underground Russian school could open somewhere else. It could open in another monastery of the Russian Orthodox Church of the Moscow Patriarchate.
Religious scholars say that this whole story is a consequence of the unfinished struggle against the influence of the Russian Orthodox Church in Ukraine. The state has still not brought this matter to a logical conclusion. Vasil Safianyuk, Fakta STV, United News.